Hey there, nerdy goblins. I am the Goblin King, and I'm bringing you another anime review. I found this one from last year. Yes, another older one, but I read the premise for the thing, and it sounded like great fun. I'm not sure who all's seen it, so I figure if I can bring a more obscure anime out of the shadows, all the better. Plus, come on, I got an excuse to sit on my ass and binge watch an entire anime, right? This one was an interesting one. Like I said, I read the initial synopsis for this, and I thought it sounded interesting. Well, I said great fun a second ago, but it can be two things, damn it. So, I'm not sure if this one counts as an isekai or not, being that it's not really about an alternate fantasy world so much as another planet. Perhaps by the end you can all tell me what you think of that. So, this one is based on some light novels, apparently, and the English title for it is Combatants Will Be Dispatched. Let me tell you about it, and I think you'll understand why I thought it sounded like great fun. By the way, I was totally right. The anime follows Agent 6. Yep, that's his name throughout the anime. Either Agent 6 or just 6. He works for the evil Kisaragi Corporation. Yes, evil. Like evil overlord style of evil, not normal corpo evil. Kisaragi Corp is run by three beautiful women. Well, two beautiful, scantily clad women and a lollybait type. The lollybait is the mad scientist of the three. Kisaragi Corp is on the verge of taking over the Earth, and apparently due to this are looking at layoffs, which I guess in their evil corporation means the big sleep. At least that's what they threatened Six with when they sent him off in an untested teleportation device to look for other habitable worlds to conquer. Against his very strenuous objections, they send him off along with Alice, the self-described high-spec pretty girl combat android. At first, their relationship is fairly antagonistic, since Alice is the straight man to Six's lecherous, lazy, petty evil, and overall jackassery. Once they actually reach their destination, they're supposed to do general scouting things like gathering information on the lay of the land, the possible inhabitants, and all that, set up a base of operations, and set up a teleporter to allow travel between the 2 points. However, they're almost immediately met by the buxom knight, Snow, and drafted by the Princess of the Kingdom of Grace into the royal army in order to defend the kingdom from the encroachment of the obligatory Demon King. This gives them access to a stable base of operations, but the teleportation device needs an entire month to calibrate itself. So, along with their new subordinates, Snow, the Chimera girl Rose, and the apostate priest Grim, Six and Alice reluctantly accept the missions of destroying the demon army and the elite 4 generals who are leading it. What follows is a series of wacky hijinks, perverted jokes and tropes, and a delicate balance for Six who must shift between reluctant hero type, though he's not very heroic at all, and the petty villain he's made himself into over the years in order to fulfill his employer's will. What got my attention immediately about this anime was the basic premise. Here you have the main character who's not the hero, but an actual villain working for an evil organization. I mean, right off the bat, that's something new and different. At least I haven't encountered that particular archetype before now. Well, at least in an anime. I mean, the only other place I can really remember seeing something similar was a fantasy novel called Villains by Necessity. It was actually pretty good. If you can find a copy, it's really hard to do. I recommend giving it a read. However, think about it. Usually if a person starts off as a villain, it's just a starting point. They usually wind up redeemed in one way or another over the course of the story. Now, Six isn't necessarily the best villain there is. Hell, the girls that are his nominal bosses aren't all that evil either, from what is shown. They're more wacky evil, greedy evil. Even Six himself is more of a greedy style of evil. He wants to lay around and do nothing and have a harem. At least from what I've been able to tell, that's his basic motivation. He likes doing as little as possible, and he likes tits. However, he is also a very accomplished warrior. For real, the dude's a beast. And he seems to have at least some nobility. When it comes to actually doing anything overtly evil, he always seems to lean more toward the nobler side of things. Such as taking advantage of an unconscious girl, even in a dire situation where it would have benefited everybody if he had. He's not complete scum, just mostly. While Six was definitely a fun character, I have to admit that the true standout for me here was Alice. Overall, she definitely had the best lines of every character. Her reactions to the generally scummy actions of Six were generally priceless, and often had me laughing to the point of guffawing. Snow was also a pretty fun character. It's fun watching her over the course of the anime as she kind of slowly gets dragged further and further down into the muck with the rest of the characters, even though for real she really didn't start out that shiny and knight in the first place. She literally states her entire motivation from the first episode, and it isn't the high ideals you expect from someone of her station. Let's just put it that way. Rose was a character that started off really interesting. That's probably not the best way to phrase that. What I mean is the premise for her character, as stated at her introduction, was very interesting. The only problem is that it never really went anywhere. The way her power set was described, you'd expect it to develop over the course of the series, get more powerful or more dynamic, something, but it never actually did. She herself was pretty good in her personality and all, but she still felt like a lot of wasted opportunity to me. Graham was really kind of the weak link of the series, to me. She also had an interesting power set, but she was always supposed to be kind of the comic relief, even in the way her powers were described. She also spent more time unconscious than she did otherwise. That was kind of a running gag throughout the anime as well. I can't say she was a wasted opportunity because she definitely fulfilled what she was supposed to do. However, a comic relief character in a comedy is just more comedy. Overall, as far as the anime itself is concerned, I really enjoyed the artwork. The animation and character designs were pretty good. The story in and of itself was fairly standard for a fantasy world setting like this. I mean, heroes and demons and the demon lord. All standard tropes by this point. The thing that made it stand out was the initial premise and the characters. All in all, I'd give this one a recommend. There's a tiny bit of ecchi and a small bit of fan service. Most of the truly ecchi material is in the jokes and dialogue anyway, so it's actually safe to watch around whomever you want if you're sensitive about that kind of thing. In other words, a pussy. Well, that's all I got for you on this one, Goblins. Let me know what you thought in that handy section down below. And while you're down there, help me score some evil points by joining my Goblin army and crushing those shiny buttons. I'll see you all later with another pop culture video. Lates.